The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi guys, thanks so much for joining. It's a pleasure to have you all here. Today we're going to be looking at social media for nonprofits. We're going to be taking a brief look at some of the different techniques that social media encompasses. We're going to be taking a look at some of the points of social media and how it's done, etc. Now, the first thing to realize when trying to implement a social media program is do not settle. Social media marketing can be done cheap. Social media marketing can be done flimsy. Social media marketing can be done with very little effort. But it's crucial that the social media program that the agency seeks to implement is done with a full effort. Another thing to keep in mind is that the goal with implementing a social media policy should be to make a difference. It should be to make a difference to the target market, it should be to make a difference to the agency, and we'll take a look at how that relates to a social media policy in just a minute. And the third thing to keep in mind is the 80-20 rule. 80% of the outcome is based on 20% of the input. This basically is why we'd want to take a look very carefully at who we're targeting and why. And we'll take a look at that in a bit more detail as well. Now let's take a look at the 6 questions that we should be asking ourselves when implementing a social media policy. First of all, what? What is social media? So social media is a collection of web tools that'll help us connect with others. The next question we ask is who? Who would need to be involved? Who are we trying to target? So first is ourselves, okay, driven by our mission. We are going to be involved. We as the agency are going to be involved. And our involvement will be driven by our mission. Next are the constituents. And the reason why our constituents will be involved is because we're joining them in their neighborhood, and they like us. Next is the overall world. These are people that are looking for our movement, what we're up to, looking for our content, some things that are happening at our agency, and any other issues that intersect them. The next question we ask is when? When do we want to put effort into the social media policy? And the answer is consistently and regularly. And we'll understand why as we go on. We'll understand why as we go through some of the web tools that are available for social media. But in general, we want to make sure that we're consistent with our social media marketing, and we, on a regular basis, put effort into it. Next is where. Where are we trying to implement this policy? And the answer is wherever our constituents are. And most likely it'll be a blog that we have, our email contacts, and Facebook. The next question we're going to ask ourselves is why? Why would we want to implement a social media policy? And we're going to take a look at that momentarily, but this is the most crucial question. Why would we want to implement the social media policy? Just because it's available doesn't necessarily mean that it's beneficial to our agency. And the final question is how? How are we going to implement this policy? The answer to that question is as an integral part of the business process that's driven by our mission. Now let's take a look at those 6 bullet points, if you will, in a bit more detail. The first question we ask ourselves is who? Who is involved? Who are we trying to reach? Let's take a look at that, okay? So first we have ourselves. Ourselves include the following. First of all, the staff that'll be involved in the social media marketing. And the key staff that are involved in that marketing, the parameters of their job are one thing and one thing only: relationships. Their job is to maintain relationships with the outside world, with the constituents, with the people that are following us. Maintaining relationships. That's the job. That's it. And the next thing is there has to be security and succession. We have to make sure that the relationships are secure. The relationships with our agency are secure and they'll stay there. And we have to make sure that there's a succession policy in place in the event the staff that work on the relationships leave. Who's going to take over the relationships? The next point within this area of who's involved is we have to make sure that the staff remain engaged on 2 fronts. We have to make sure they're engaged on the front of our agency's image, and we have to make sure that they're engaged on the front of the people that are following us. The engagement has to be linked with the goals of the agency, which would lead us to ask ourselves, who are the appropriate staff members to be involved? And we need to make sure we don't create a single point of failure. We need to make sure that there's a plan in place. For maintaining that engagement on those 2 fronts. The other people that are involved are the constituents. These will be people that like us. These will be people that we're joining in their own neighborhoods. These are people we're trying to strengthen a relationship with. And we need to remember that we can't control what they say. So these are the people, aside from ourselves, that will be involved. And next, the other people involved are the world in general. Okay, these are people that are using Google. These are people that are using Bing, Microsoft's search engine. These are people that are looking for our movement, what we're up to, what we're doing, what's happening around our agency, what's happening within our agency. These are people that are looking for content, pictures of our agency, pictures of our events. And they're looking for issues that intersect them. They're looking for issues that relate to their own interests. Next, we have what? What are we trying to accomplish? What are we trying to portray? So, social media basically is a set of digital tools that'll help our agency tell stories and connect with others. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be using a set of digital tools that help us tell stories and connect with others.